So one of the things that a lot of gardeners get excited about are those late season greens when those temperatures start to cool down and those leafy greens just become that better in their salads. And it's a time.
It's still growing season.
It's still growing season. There's still time for those that have not started their seeds already to go out. They can purchase little 4-packs or some started plants already. And if you get things like this arugula or some of your lettuces, you can actually do a pretty good job of getting these plants, getting them in the ground, and having a harvest. If you protect, like we're going to talk about in a couple weeks, if you protect these, you can actually have greens almost all the way until November.
Is that right? So
Yeah.
you can grow your lettuces, your radishes, onions, everything, even now.
Correct.
Even though we've got a low sun angle, they still get
Lower
enough.
sun angle, fine with your plants. They're going
Right.
to be fine. They're going to actually taste a little bit better too as we get some of those cooler temperatures. And what you want to do is you want to prepare a really good soil mix for them. So if you have a really good composted area, plant them now, and then you're going to actually cover them to protect them against frost, because our first frost normally comes up in that first week of October.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good news for the garden. What about other plants?
Yeah, a lot of your other plants you're going to want to be kind of helping them through.
You want to get them ready for winter?
Reacclimated. Yes, getting them ready for winter. And while you're doing that, there's tons of things you can do in your vegetable garden. A lot of people just kind of pick those last green tomatoes and are like, oh, that's it, I'm done with my garden. But there's so many things you can do, and I brought a nice selection here. We'll probably talk about the bouquet here in a little bit, but I've got all kinds of different mixes that I can do. And say you're in a situation, you might be in an apartment, you might be in an area where you don't have a whole lot of land, and you really can't cover up and create a cold frame. One thing you can do is create something like this little beautiful dish planter that I got over at Benzel's. Just mix your greens together. So here I've got some chards, I've got some beets, I've got different types of lettuces. These can be actually a really attractive fall centerpiece. And the best thing about it is, if it's gonna go down about below 32, you just grab this, bring it in the house, and use it as a centerpiece inside your home. When the temperatures are right, yeah, and you can eat it. You can actually put it right out there and have yourself a living salad.
Cool, cool. Well, that's Matt Ross of OCC. We've got another segment coming up.
Yeah, a lot of people get surprised when they find out that you can do some cool weather planting. And one of the best plants that's out there for a cool weather planting is Swiss Chard. Now, Swiss Chard, as you see in the summer and in the late spring, gets this vibrant color to it.
Gorgeous.
Just one of the most beautiful plants that's out there. And there's two ways to eat it. You can actually eat it in its larger stage or more mature stage. Or
Is
you can
that
actually, yep, and what you do is you cut it up and you can mix it with something like honey, almonds.
Is it a little bitter?
It's heated. Yes, it's bitter. So you definitely want to pair that with something that's going to make it a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
And
Little
honey's one of
sweet.
the best things to do that with.
Okay.
You know, nature's little natural sweetener.
And some almonds for the crunch.
Oh, definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely. And you can use dried cranberries and other dried fruit in that mix as well.
Nice.
But you can also eat it as a salad green. So you can use it when it's in its immature stage or when it's real young
That's
and
like
tender.
this.
You can actually use the leaves in a salad, and it's a nice color jump that you might have between this and other parts of your dining pleasure. And what I do is I always encourage people, when I'm looking at planting something, especially late in the season, to read the back end of the card to see what the days to maturity is.
So what is chard?
Here it's 60 days. Now it's 60 days to get the large specimen, but if I plant late, I can still use it as a baby green in one of my salad mixes and mix it in with things like mescaline and spinach, which spinach actually is one of the best cold tolerances out of almost all your plants.
So you could plant spinach right now and enjoy it. Still
yes,
enjoy it before the season's
if you
over.
catch it when it's young, and then if you cover or protect it. And one of the things you want to do with some of these younger plants is when you're planting them is make sure you get it at the appropriate root depth. So you pull them out of these 4-packs and they might be kind of stretchy or kind of elongated.
Uh-huh.
And what you're going to want to do is plant right at that point of growth. So with your collards, with arugula, and even with your Swiss chard, you're going to want to plant it so that it doesn't have this tail on it. You're going to want to plant it right there and just nuzzle that right into a good soil mix.
Really? So you don't want the root on it?
No, you actually want this long stretch right here is just trying to support the plant. And if it does get large and lanky, it's going to end up breaking off at that point at the base.
Okay.
So one of the things you also want to do is, say for instance, I was looking at this pack of collards, I want to thin down. So if I'm trying to get one plant to have its leaves to use, I'm going to thin out some of the other smaller stragglers.
So there's more food for growth.
There's more room for growth. And if I don't want to, and I'm just going to try to catch everything as baby greens, I can plant pretty heavy and I can overseed very heavily because I'm just going to cut this all off and use these all in a salad.
Nice centerpiece right here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Got the big old Spartan green helmet on there.
Go away, get out of here. Although they're ranked very high this year.
Oh yeah, they're having a great season.
Yeah.
And right in this Spartan Cup, I've got all kinds of different greens. And all these shades of green you can actually use in your palette. You can also use them in your home arrangements as well. And what's better than bringing these into the garden?
Right.
And then just plucking one of these bad boys and having yourself a little midday snack.
That's great stuff, Matt. You're going to come back in a couple of weeks. I know first frost, early October. What are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about constructing your old cold frame so that when the temperatures get cooler, and these plants can't handle temperatures below freezing because their cells are going to freeze and it'll kill the plant, you can help protect them with things like a cold frame or a hoop house.
Beautiful, beautiful. Matt Ross of OCC, always some great tips. Taught me a lot of stuff I had no idea. I had no idea we could keep going with our gardens at this time of year, but that's great.
Definitely.
Okay, we'll talk to Matt coming up in a couple weeks with some more tips.